You're watching Two Button Crew.
The daily show for Nintendo fans.
I'm Scott.
And I'm Simeon.
Nice to see you here today.
Nice to see you, Scott. So, Nintendo takes pretty good care of their different franchises, don't they?
For the most part, they do a great job.
For the most part, they do a great job, but every once in a while they get slacking, especially on certain franchises. And today we are going to be talking about the top 5 neglected Nintendo franchises.
Yep, and a shout out to Earthbound. They graduated from this category.
Yes.
They were a neglected franchise, but now they are acknowledged, they are translated, they are on the up and up.
Yes, they are.
But what does neglected mean? Like, it feels to fans like a series is kind of slipping through the cracks. Like,
this is what neglect looks like, people.
the face of neglect.
This is the face of neglect right there.
Neglect man.
Neglect man.
Yeah, I hear you on that one.
Yeah.
Just like it kind of fell off the face of the earth. Like it was around, it had a good fan base, and then that fan base was never really served again. At least that's what it feels like on our end. Of course, sometimes Nintendo, they don't want to make another entry because they don't have anything unique on the current platform that they can do with it. What else? What could be cases of neglect?
Well, I mean, the fan base could be not big enough or perceived to like... oh, the last game didn't do as well. Therefore, nobody wants this game anymore. Therefore, we won't make any more.
Metroid Other M? Yeah.
Metroid Other M.
All right.
And now we have, Federation Force, but...
We can start with Metroid.
Yeah, so
Okay.
Metroid is on our list. I don't think it would be last place, per se.
Right.
But Metroid is definitely neglected. How long has it been since Other M? It's 2010?
Yes. I believe that was 2010.
So like 5 years. I mean, we've had, like we said, Federation Force is going to be coming out, and apparently there's another game in the works as well. But
I mean, Metroid experienced a small amount of neglect because it never got an entry on the N64.
right,
It skipped a generation, and it looks like it's in the position to skip another generation of home consoles at least. We're not going to see one on the Wii U. Most likely, from what we've heard from, I believe it was Tanabe, the producer of the series.
We're probably going to see it on the NX.
Right.
So, Metroid, neglected.
Yeah.
Bring it back. That's so cool.
And I think it could very well be the reception of Other M. I mean, Prime was just a revered series, and it thrusted the retro studio into fame just because they handled it so well. And all it took was one entry to take it off Nintendo's radar. It's so odd.
Yeah.
And personally, I think that the Wii U gamepad is the controller for Samus.
Yes, I agree.
So much you could do with the visors, the cannons,
the map,
dual stick controls, the map.
Map. Oh my goodness, right there in your hands.
I'm gonna be pretty sad if we don't see one on this console.
Or at least with the gamepad. Who knows if we can use the gamepads on the NX?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yep, that's true.
I think they had a good thing going.
All right, what else we got?
So we also have you put up there F-Zero, and F-Zero. I mean, was F-Zero GX the last entry? And that was arcade and GameCube, right?
Yeah.
2 console generations and no news.
And F-Zero was in Nintendo Land, so
that's true.
Sometimes Nintendo does these tiny little nods, like, okay, this series is not dead.
Yeah, we acknowledge that it exists in our history, which is not something it always does.
I think last year Reggie wore a Metroid pin. It's just a little 8-bit Metroid, and
I do remember that.
People got so hyped. Okay, if you run a company and wearing a pin of a character gets the internet buzzing, make a game with that character.
Yes, seriously.
Okay, we can put stuff on our desk. We could wear things. I wear gunner glasses. Do the comment section explode with gunners? No. But the internet exploded with Metroid, and that's a sure sign of neglect. But sorry, getting back to F-Zero, it was in Nintendo Land. Captain Falcon continues to be in Smash Bros. And stuff.
Yes.
But it was interesting when Mario Kart 8 came out, because people felt like it should have been F-Zero in some instances.
And in fact, it had an F-Zero track.
Yeah. And it's like Nintendo kind of wanted to merge those franchises, or in some way, like, what's that word when it was canon but it's not anymore? Like, they wanted to...
When it was what?
It was canon, but they're going back and...
retcon?
Yeah. It's like that's kind of how they're handling the series. Like, let's just retcon F-Zero's existence and pretend it is a part of Mario Kart. Yeah. We'll let you drive a Blue Falcon or whatever that kart is called. And stuff. Personally, I was never an F-Zero fan, but I know I never stopped hearing about it. Not getting an entry.
So we've talked about Metroid and we talked about F-Zero, and I think like the most recent things we've heard about them besides Smash Brothers is Nintendo Land. And Nintendo Land, it's not a franchise per se because it's only one game. I think it's almost kind of an extension of the Wii series.
Okay, yeah.
But makes sense. I think that Nintendo Land is like a huge gold mine of untapped potential.
Yeah.
It's like Mario Party on crack.
Yeah.
It is like, it may only have, how many mini games does it have? Like 10?
There's 12.
12. 12 mini games. And all of them, well, at least for the most part, were pretty darn great.
Like, I enjoyed each of them. Some a lot more than others.
Right. Like, you could sit down with Mario Party and you could play bumper balls for quite a while. Eventually you would get bored of bumper balls. That's one of the... I use bumper balls because I think everybody can agree that that's one of the, if not the greatest Mario Party minigame. But these are so much more than that. Like, you could sit down... I could sit down and play Metroid Blast, or sit down and play Luigi's Mansion in Nintendo Land for hours and hours and hours, because those mini games by themselves are so fantastic.
Yeah, in fact, I want to do co-op Zelda right now.
Yeah.
Sounds fun. Like, by the time you get bored of one, then by that time another one sounds like a ton of fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that had a good balance of accessibility and challenge. Like, there's those different stamps you can get. I think they're called stamps, but like different objectives. Like in the Zelda game, you can go through an entire level and it'll have a different objective each time. Like, don't get hit, or in the Metroid one, it's do it within a certain amount of time, or have a certain kind of accuracy. So there were those types of things that gave it additional replay value and stuff. And it's just a missing opportunity for DLC, honestly, or a sequel.
Honestly.
It's such a great way to merge all of Nintendo's worlds and give gamers a taste of each of those and kind of celebrate Nintendo's history. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So the Wii series and Nintendo Land, bring it back.
Yep. We've also got Star Fox, which is making a triumphant return. So Star Fox, it was neglected for a while. Like, Star Fox Adventures should have been Star Fox's Other M, like kind of a nail in the coffin kind of game. But luckily they came back with Star Fox Assault, and then that game should have done well, but for whatever reason they took a big break on the series after that.
Yes.
And it's cool to see it back.
It is.
They've neglected like the care of this franchise in the sense of storyline, though.
Yes.
It just keeps being a recycled thing, so they could do better with that.
I think it's also neglected in its core gameplay. Like, we saw Star Fox Adventures was completely different with shoehorned, instances of the R-Wing sections in there. Yeah. And then we have Star Fox Assault with, it's got a bunch of R-Wing sections in there, but still mostly focused on that third-person shooter gameplay.
They wanted him out of the cockpit for some reason.
And then we have Star Fox Command, which I know had a little bit of similar gameplay to Star Fox 2, which we're seeing again in Star Fox Zero, but still a departure from what it had in the original and what it had in Star Fox 64. And Star Fox Command was a terrible game. I'm just going to come out and say that. And I don't feel like they did take care of it, especially in storyline. Mm-hmm. There's like 10 million different stories in that one game.
Yeah, it's like they don't want to have any official canon. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, this situation happened in the next game, it happened all over again. The next game, any number of things could have happened. Yes. It's so non-committal about Star Fox. It's interesting.
Terrible.
WarioWare's the last one I wanted to talk about, and for a while I was having really good consistent entries.
It was.
GameCube, Game Boy Advance, DS. I remember it was always a really good way. Like
DSi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. It was a great way to do kind of like tech demos for each new piece of hardware. They did awesome with it on the Wii.
Yes, they did.
Using that in ways that no other game did. Covering up the end of the Wii remote and then shaking up the bottle of soda. You move your finger and it explodes in the game. Like, how'd they even get that to work? Touch was really good. Twist was really good. And for Wii U, they tried something new, and I can appreciate trying something new, and they made Game & Wario. So that was a strange concept. It was like...
I don't even remember that game.
It was... I rented it. It was like not micro games, but mini games. And there were a few good ones. But it's just not WarioWare.
You're right.
So I bet you WarioWare will make a comeback on phones. We'll look forward to that. But in any of these series, we would just be happy to see it anywhere.
Indeed we would. Especially Metroid.
Yeah.
Especially Metroid. And we're not talking about Prime Federation. That's a different thing.
Talking about what?
Prime Federation.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Flying Federation.
Flying Federation.
It's like, no, that's not the alliteration. It's Federation Force.
Oh.
Anyway, thanks for being a part of the Flying Federation Force.
Don't forget to like, to comment, and most of all to hit that big red subscribe button.
See you next time.